And we are now live, so we are recording the follow-up webinar. Please, if you have any questions throughout the information, put your questions down. There should be a plus sign or minus sign. You can expand your box and type questions in. I will keep that down below so it's not distracting, but I will pull it up from time to time and help to answer any questions that way we may have. So first of all, congratulations. Thank you for taking some time out of the Olympic watching. I know there's a lot of exciting stuff going on tonight. And before we get started, I just want to, think about where were you 4 years ago? Where were you last summer games? And I think back to where I was. I was still working at my full-time job as a clinical psychologist at a local CMH. And I remember I was an emerald. I was an emerald because we went up with Cammie and Nathan to their cottage, and someone made us little fun glasses with green emeralds on them, and we were all decorated in terms of our color or whatever. And I did not know a squat about follow-up. I didn't. I had never done a business like this before. I have never experienced what building a business like this was like. And I was emerald. And I was thinking, okay, I'm going to be diamond someday, and that next month I turned diamond. And then a year later I was double diamond, and then a year later I was triple diamond, and here I am a few years even after that sitting as an ambassador diamond. And I can tell you 4 years ago I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Follow-up is a learned skill. This is something that we practice. This is something that we continue to get better at and gain confidence in. So if you're sitting here going, I don't know how to follow up, and I don't like following up, and I'm nervous to call people, that's okay. Everybody starts somewhere. I was certainly in your boat at one time as well. I remember one time I had someone that was interested, and I called Cammie and said, oh my gosh, I have no idea what to even say or do next. So if you're sitting there in that boat, please know that that's a part of the journey. It's a part of the process, and you're just going to have a very cool story someday. So follow-up, follow-up is a learned skill. We certainly want to be connected to our why. We want to know why we want to do it. We want to have the heart and the excitement behind what we're doing. But there's lots of skills and things that we can practice throughout this journey to become better and better and better at our job, at networking, at marketing, at connecting with our team, at leading and training, and all the different skill sets that we develop. So I'm going to share with you some things that I have learned over the last few years. I'm going to share with you what I say, we're going to get into some verbiage, as well as kind of the attitude and confidence you want to have when you are following up. And then we are going to hear from two of our expert follow-uppers. I have Presidential Diamond Nikki Moore on the line and Presidential Diamond Anna Godfrey on the line as well. Hopefully her computer will be able to hear her. Her mic is working. And they're going to share with you what they have learned throughout the years too, because I have to say nobody is born with a set of these skills. You're just not. Most people don't know how to do this. And so that's why this is something that's so important to practice over and over and over again. This is one of my favorite topics right now because I do think that this is probably what can make or break your business. Fortune is in the follow-up. If you are not following up, your business is probably not going to grow. Because most of the time people need to hear about a business 6, 7, even 12 times in order to feel connected to you and to feel excited about what's happening. So follow-up is a huge piece to what we do. First off, I want you to kind of find, maybe get a pen and paper, take some notes throughout the webinar. We will have some verbiage and things to say, so you will want to write some of that down. Before we get into some of that, I do want to say, too, that we want you to have a place of strategy and a place of systems in terms of follow-up. So where do you do it? Do you do it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? How often do you do it? What time is dedicated to following up? I remember I used to follow up on my drive home, and if I called 5 people a day on my drive home from work, I knew I was going to at least talk to one, and that would bridge me into evening time, and I'd be excited to continue making calls. So when during the week are you fitting in follow-up? It has to go somewhere, and I know a lot of us are busy, so it's important that we choose when that is going to be. All right, so lead follow-up. Leads come from everywhere. They come from parties. They come from blitzing. Loyal customers, our best loyal customers are often our best distributors. I was a loyal customer before I got started. Thank goodness Cami provided good customer service to me, and here we are. Facebook leads, internet leads, expo leads. Leads are everywhere. You want to know why leads come from everywhere? Because people are everywhere. People that have not yet heard about our product, men, women, age 18 to 88, have not heard about our product, and they need to and want to. So leads are everywhere. Most of the people that we sign up will not be people we know. Most of us do not know enough people to really to make money with just the people that we know. We are going to constantly be meeting and working with new people and getting to know them. So with that being said, it is all about the relationship. I remember when I first started signing up leads, I wanted, or getting leads and going to expos and keeping my hundreds list full of new people. I often wanted to be taken seriously. So I would call the person and say, why, hello, this is Denise Walsh, and I am calling from It Works, and I am here to answer any questions that you may have. And I was trying to be professional. Well, guess what? That made me unrelatable. So if you are trying to be professional, and just wipe that right out, because it really is all about the relationship. One time Brandon said to me, talk about what you're doing at that exact moment. He said, tell them you're golfing. You know, if you're golfing, or you're out with family dinner, or you're making dinner, or you're playing with the kids, tell them what you're doing at that moment, because that's what this is all about. It's all about the relationship. It's all about being a real person that they feel comfortable with. So start off by asking some personal questions. You know, some things might be, what drew you to the site? Are you interested in the products or the business? Have you ever done a business like this before? What do you currently do? What are your interests? What do you have any kids? What's your why? What would be some of your goals if you got started into something like this? You must have been searching for something. What connected you to It Works, and what got you excited? Get to know them. Ask questions. Be their friend. You know, I often feel like I am calling my leads like we're already best friends. And I do that because I know that if they become a leader in this business, I probably will be talking to them 2, 3, 5 times a week, and they will become my best friends. So we might as well just start there, right? Because through that conversation, the question is do they trust you? Can you be somebody that they can call and feel comfortable with if they have a problem? Do they feel comfortable with you? Are you going to teach and train them well? Are you confident in what you're doing? You know, most people, they don't sign up in a business because of the business. We know that. They don't sign up because of all the facts that you know. They don't sign up because you know all the ingredients in the applicator. They sign up because of you. They sign up because they feel comfortable, they trust you, and they feel like you're not going to leave them hanging. Success by identity. We went to a Big Al training on Tuesday, and if you're in the Grand Rapids area, I really encourage you to come and participate in the trainings that we get to have here. But we met with Big Al, who's an MLM trainer, and he gave us lots of little tips, and so I'm incorporating them throughout this tonight. But success by identity. One Big Al tip that he stated that we use quite frequently was, before I tell you how this works, let me share what happened to me. This is why I got started. This is why I signed up, how I got connected to the business. This is what I've experienced in the few short years, or whatever the case may be, a few short months. This is why I got started a week ago. No matter how new you are in the business, you have a story, because you have something that brought you to It Works, something that rekindled a passion inside of you. So before I tell you how this works, let me tell you what happened to me. What happens is, according to Big Al, is because of the word before, it's starting to, it's saying that the pitch is not yet happening. I'm not yet telling you what we're going to do. That comes later. But let me tell you what happened to me, which means you're telling a story. people are engaged in a story. They want to hear how it ends. They want to hear what's going on. You know, I was sitting behind Cammie and her mom during the Big Al webinar or Big Al training on Tuesday, and Big Al was talking about this and the impact of telling your story and having people relate to you and just become connected with you and trust you. And she said, she turned to her mom and said, that's so true. And people know and like and trust you, then they will feel comfortable and quote unquote following you in this business as you pave the way for them. So telling your story and being relatable is a huge piece of following up. And I actually was going to put this part at the end, but after Big Al's training, I thought, no, this actually does need to go in the beginning, because it's not about the facts and figures of it works that draws people into this business. It's really about you and if they feel comfortable with you, if you're confident in what you're telling them, and if they want to join you on this journey. But we know that throughout the conversation, you do want to have answers. You do want to have verbiage to tell people, and you do want to feel confident. And so we're going to answer the following questions. These are the following questions that I recommend answering on the call with a prospect, whether it's an expo or a party lead or internet lead, whatever the case may be. Answer these questions, but certainly do it in a way that's relational. You don't necessarily have to go through a script or a list. I think a lot of people want a script. However, we want it to be real and relatable, and so that's why we don't really have one. But if you answer these questions throughout the call, your confidence is going to go up, and your prospect's confidence is going to go up as well. So why it works? Well, it works as a 10-year-old company. We are debt-free. We know what we're doing. This is not a company that just started, a week ago. This is a company that grew at a pace they could sustain. We have a solid foundation that is just getting stronger and stronger, and we are a debt-free company. We are also in the beginning of a momentum swing. So timing is why it works right now. We are in the beginning of a momentum swing. If you've ever heard of the 10-year overnight success, we are at that place right now where we have a solid 10 years under our belt. We are only growing. Corporate's not going to stop. They have big dreams, big visions. They've got big goals, and the question is who's going to be a part of it. So why it works, the CEO, the company itself, we're debt-free, we've got a solid foundation, and we're at the beginning of this momentum swing. Why the wrap? The wrap is our signature product. Nobody has it. Nobody. You cannot get a wrap in a grocery store. You cannot go to Walmart and purchase a wrap. There is no competition for our applicator. Typically, people, if they've heard of a wrap before, they think of a salon wrap. Salon wraps are head to toe, mud, seaweed. They dehydrate you. You eat a tomato and, it comes right back. That's not what this is. This is a detoxing product that's good nutrition for the skin, and people see results every single time. It could be the healing of the stretch marks. It could be the detoxing effect. There's a lot of different things that can happen. Increased circulation and toning and tightening. You can see the six-pack coming back out as people wear the wrap. And so the wrap is not, it's tried and true. It's not being tested anymore. We have results all over the place. It's a consumable product. Again, when you're looking for a company, you want something that's consumable that you can't get anywhere else. So we have a hot product that nobody knows about. Why our team? This is something, too, that I think is really, really special. When you have confidence that not only will they, if people put in time and effort into this business, they can and will be in a different place in the next year. But also know that our team is very special, and no matter where they are in the world, Australia, Europe, Canada, USA, they will be supported. We have lots of very cool systems within our team that have been created with all of the leaders. Cammie certainly paved the way, and then we continue to enhance and build and train. We have team Facebook pages that connect us with a community. We have team calls each week that connect you with that community, that allow you to ask questions and get help and resources. You don't need to know everything to really get started with It Works, because you can walk them into a well-oiled machine and they can get that same support and training that you do. And we know that if somebody has a question, there's always somebody available on that team Facebook page to answer it pretty quickly. Not all teams have this. They don't. I get calls all the time from other leaders within It Works who say, what are you guys doing? It is different. Your people are, there's a system, there's connection, they're positive, they have a home. And I think that's what separates us from the rest of the pack. The other thing to know is I had a girl one time tell me that she almost signed up with a local person. And guess what? That local person quit within 6 months. She is so grateful now that she chose to sign up with our team, because we are certainly not going anywhere. So why our team? Because we have systems of training, we have systems of community, and we have systems of leadership. Why you? This is one of my favorite questions to talk to a prospect about, because some people will hear my story and hear your story and maybe go, well, that's good for you, but not good for me. I can't do that. I still have best friends that say, oh, that's good for you, but I could never do that. Why you? Identify what about them would connect with this business. I firmly believe that no matter what your skill set is, whether you're a customer gatherer, you're a recruiter, you are a trainer, if you've been to a Diamond Days, if you're a red, a blue, a green, a yellow, you can be successful with It Works. We just have to figure out what your gift is. We have to figure out what your niche is so you can grow and thrive there, and all the rest of the skills will continue to grow as you start thriving in your niche spot. So why you? Talk to your prospect about why they specifically can be successful in this business. And I think when you do that, you start to see their eyes light up through the phone. You know, I've met with people and I say, you are going to be so good because you're personable, because you light up a room, because you're engaging, because you're fun, because you are because you love to train, because people respect you, because you have high integrity. You know, whatever the case may be, watch and listen. This is not about being fluffy. This is not about saying the same thing to every single person. This is about really watching and listening to your prospects and identifying what their need is and identifying what their gift might be and how it works, how they can fit right into what we're doing. Why now? Why now? I hope everybody on this call knows why now, because we are growing. We are growing. We're at the beginning of that momentum swing. We're at the beginning of that hockey stick where, you know, Pam said at the last Diamond Days that we have 2 years until we tip. Now is the time to get going, because we are not yet a household name. Even in Grand Rapids, where we have the highest concentration of leadership, I still say maybe about 3 out of 10 people have heard of us. And we have the highest concentration of leaders in one area, so we are certainly not a household name just yet, which is a good thing, because that means that you can be the go-to person for your city and for your state. So why now is because companies only grow one time, and you can miss it. I realized that when I realized Cammie's business was going to continue to grow. She was continuing to work it, but that didn't mean that my business was growing. Corporate was going to continue to grow. They're putting resources back in. They're always developing and changing and focusing on the next step. But that didn't mean that my business was going to consistently grow. I had to be out there in the field and working and building my business so that I did not miss out on this chance of a lifetime. That leads me to another Big Al tip, because one of the things that he said is that people don't want to be left out. And I think this why now piece is a big part of that, because again, a company grows one time and you can miss it. All right, I'm going to see if we have any questions. Good questions. A few people are asking, how often do you follow up, and what does a follow-up kind of section look like? You know, when I have somebody that is, maybe I've blitzed them and I got their information, or they're from an expo, I do try to follow up within the first 24 to 48 hours. If you wait longer than that, then it's kind of considered cold. So you do want to follow up quickly. You want to follow up quickly with an email. You want to follow up quickly with a text, Facebook, phone call. All four. You don't know their best mode of communication. And let's say they are, I know lots of stay-at-home moms who would prefer to text. Let's say they're a stay-at-home mom and they can never really feel like they can answer the phone call or the phone for a long conversation, but they can text really quickly. And you never try that option, then you never know. So I recommend becoming Facebook friends with the leads that you have, calling them at least 2 or 3 times the first 2 weeks, emailing them a few times as well, and then texting and Facebooking them too. Sometimes I say, you know, if I leave a message for someone, I'll text them and say, hey, I just called you. This is about It Works. Just wanted to see when a good time to chat might be, and then they can easily respond to that. So following all the modes of communication, because you'll find that some people are just better at Facebook. Maybe they're at work all day and they can email quickly. So it's a good question to ask your new distributors and your prospects as well. Some Big Al tips that we ended with yesterday. Big Al tips. Most people. These are just some words to say. I really appreciated that. So most people do what's called the booster pack because they know they're going to need products to continue to start their parties. Most people love being the first one in your area. You know, we will provide you the support that you need. Most people, what happens when you talk like that? People want to be a part of most people. I actually use this at parties all the time. You can become a retail customer, or what most people do is become a loyal customer and get the products at wholesale price. Or you can do what most people do and become a distributor and be the person in your area to start making some money and distributing the product. End your conversations with, so, what do you think? You don't have to have a big close because, again, you're just being relational. You're just wanting to say, well, this is my story. This is what I have to offer. What do you have to offer? So ending with, so, what are you thinking? And then often what I'll do is if someone says, you know, I think I want to talk to my husband, or I think I want to do some research, or, you know, I think I want to take a look at some stuff, then what I'll say is, great, I'm going to send you an email, and let's touch base in 2 days. And then I'll send them an email with a webinar of, you know, the prospecting, or the prospecting call we did a few weeks ago, the product webinar, the compensation plan webinar. I send them the steps to success. I send them some of that stuff because they say they want to do research, but they don't know what they're researching. Really, what are they going to do? I mean, they're probably just going to Google it, right? So if we provide them with materials to research and learn more about what we have, then again, you're providing good customer service. You're showing them that you are somebody that they can trust because you stick to your word. You're following up with them. You're sending them materials. You're giving them that next step, and then you can say, and I'll call you in a day or so you can take a look at that material, write down questions that you have, and let's touch base. Sometimes I'll say, so what do you think? And a prospect will say, well, I actually think I'm ready to go. I think I want to get started. And then I'll end with, when do you think you'll be able to sit in front of the computer and get in? When will you be getting in? When will you be getting in the computer? Because how often do people tell us that they are going to sign up for this business? I think I've got 3 on my list right now that told me they were going to sign up within the last few days, and they still haven't. So what do? When do you think you'll be able to get in the computer? So if you have any problems during that time, I'll know that to look out for a text or call from you, so that way we can make sure you get in smoothly. Ask those questions. It's okay because they, again, it gives them some accountability. Again, I was talking to somebody on the way home from work, and she goes, you know, I think I'm ready to do it. And I said, well, when do you think you'll be able to sit at a computer and get your stuff in? And she said, you know, I'll do it as soon as I get home. So that, again, put it in her mind that she was going to do it as soon as she got home, and she did. So that was a good one. But so what do you think? And then, again, following that up with, well, when can we connect again? scheduling that or giving them a rough outline of when you'll call back, maybe even some homework. You can call it that. Well, I'll give you some homework, take a look at this, and then write down questions before our next call. You are, again, guiding the conversation because you are showing them that you're somebody that is confident in what's going on, you know what to do, and you're paving the way. Another Big Al tip was, so, what would be easier for you? So, what would be easier for you? Do you want me to put you in the computer, or do you want to put it in yourself? Would it be easier to call customer service together if you have this question? Would it be easier if I send you information via email or call you tomorrow? What would be easier for you? Would it be easier if I called you in the morning or in the afternoon? Would it be easier if we talked tomorrow, or if you're on the team call? I think the goal is to, again, connect with them and what would be easier for you, and then give them some options. One thing that we practiced at Big Al was, what would be easier for you? Sending your kids to daycare every day, or choosing to stay at home and do something different and change your family's legacy? I don't know if you'd be so bold to say that to a prospect, but those are just some silly things we came up with yesterday. But I think the message is clear. What would be easier for you? Do you want me to call you in the morning or the afternoon? Do you want me to email you information or text it to you? Whatever the case may be. Another Big Al tip that he stated was, most people I show this business to get excited and want to join, but some don't. What I really liked about this tip was that Big Al talked about the fact that everybody has excuses. Everybody has that the defenses that start to come up a little bit. Most people will say that they don't have time or money. Most people will, because if we were bored, right? Well, how many of us ever live our life and think, I'm bored? Some people do, and they need a hobby, and that's perfect for us as well. But most people will say that they don't have time or money, and sometimes we like to say, well, welcome to normal. That's very normal for you to be busy and to feel like you don't have the funds for it, but we can certainly help you get there. So most people I show in this business get excited and want to join, but some feel like they don't have any money. And if you're in that boat, then this is exactly what you need right now, and you can sell the wraps, pre-sell the wraps before you even get your kit. Most people I show this business to get excited and want to join, but some are so worried about not having time to put into this business. Well, I know Debbie and Dave Sasek, when Top Money Earners with It Works, chose to schedule one night a week to work their business. And they did one night a week for maybe even a year, 6 months to a year, until they were able to dedicate more time into this business. And so, again, I think that the goal of that last one is to shut down or address that excuse before it even gets started. Let me see what other questions we have. How do you get the name and information when blitzing? Good question. I sometimes I always try to have a pen and paper on me, or at least my phone. And if I'm blitzing and I'm having a good conversation with someone, because again, there's 3 ways to blitz. We have stealth blitzing, which is just leaving your information out. We call that kind of canvassing the town. That's name recognition. Number 2 is when you just hand out your coupons and you talk to them, but you don't necessarily get in a good conversation with them. And then 3 is when they start asking questions. And then you can say, would it be okay if I got your information and followed up with you to schedule that appointment? Would it be okay if I called you, or would it be okay if we scheduled a wrap appointment next week? Would it be okay if I emailed you some information? Would it be okay is actually a Big Al tip as well. So would it be okay if I grabbed your information and connected with you in a few days? And sometimes people will just put it directly in their phone and their calendar, and they'll say, well, when on Tuesday works for you? Let's meet up, or let's talk, and I'll send you some information to look over, whatever. And they put it right into their phone and have a message reminder. I think Alicia Demony taught me that back down in North Carolina, and she puts it right into her phone, so no matter where she is on that day, she gets that little ding, and it reminds her to call that lead. Some people will put sticky notes on their Blitz cards and say, hey, give me your information. Now they have a collection of sticky notes to put on their hundreds list, and then again follow up with them. That doesn't have, I think we have to be wise in terms of our approach. You don't want to we can ask people for information, but certainly we want to get into that conversation first and build the relationship. Is there ever too much following up? I don't think so. I think you kind of follow up until they tell you no. We're not hounding someone. What we're doing is we're providing good customer service. So if you call them 2 or 3 times the first few weeks, maybe once a month after that, you don't know when the time is right for them. And what happens is that you want them to remember you when the time is right. How many of us have been to a party and then go, if I wanted to become a Scentsy girl or a whatever girl, I would have no idea who to call, and you just start researching online. That happens with us all the time. So you want to be the person they remember. You want to be the It Works girl in the area. You want to be the person that if they are ever interested in this business, they know who to call. And so part of the follow-up and closing goal is to build that relationship so that way they do know to contact you when they are ready. 2 examples of that. I had a girl that was a loyal customer from mine in October. She signed up as a loyal customer. She was an internet lead, and she signed up in October. She gets some emails from me. She gets my blasts when we've got specials going on or the new products and things like that. And she just signed up as a distributor in, what was it, April? May, I think? June? May or June. I think it was May or June. But what she told me was that she actually did hear of somebody in her area that was doing It Works. She did hear of somebody. But she chose to come back to me because I had provided her good customer service, and she felt like I would take care of her and know that she was walking into, again, a well-oiled machine where there was systems and she was not going to be left to her lonesome. Another example of that is that I had a lead from February just message me and sign up in the business yesterday. And again, she had said, she didn't know anybody in her area, but she had heard about It Works through, a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, and she remembered that I was doing it. We're Facebook friends. She probably gets information on her news feed from me, and I was the one that she remembered to call. So I don't think that you can ever over follow up. I don't think that what we're doing is we're not, if they we're certainly respectful of them and their time. We can schedule appointments. We can, I don't think that we're being rude about it, but what we're doing is they don't really understand what they're missing. We do. So it's our responsibility to provide them with that information. A couple more questions and then I will move on. I think someone saying, how do you feel like you have the time to add this to your day? I often will do follow-up while I'm driving around. If I have my top 5 people, or maybe I have my hundreds list and I'm kind of going through that, I will drive around doing errands, and I'll make Tuesdays my follow-up day, my errand day, my grocery shopping day, or whatever, and I will often do my follow-up while I'm driving around. I used to do my follow-up in the same chair with all my notes, and then of course as you more and more comfortable you get, the easier that it will get. But just kind of decide that time and fit it in wherever you can. Know that the close always be closing, which means really we want to assume that everybody's going to be a distributor. They really, really are. I went to a party with one of my new leaders a few weeks ago, and we came out of the party, and I said, so what do you think? And she goes, you believe that everybody should do this business, don't you? And I said, yes, actually I do. I believe that no matter what their skill set is, no matter what their situation, they can and will be successful with this business if they do something consistently and give it a good go. And so I think because of that confidence, because of that excitement, I always actually kind of pretend like they're already a distributor. So when are you ready to go? Let's get your party started. We're always closing. We're always training. When you're following up with somebody, you're training them how to follow up with their customers, with their friends, family, clients. And so think about that every prospect that you have is as your superstar distributor, and you want them to follow in your footsteps. It is based on zero information, really. Most of the time, the decision is already made within the first 30 seconds. It's not about how much you know. We will give you some keywords and things to use because we know you certainly want to build that confidence, but it's not about how much you know. It's really about, are you trustworthy? Do they like you? Do they feel like you will lead them well and you will have influence? It's about the relationship. Subconscious minds make all of the decisions. So are you confident? Are you confident that this is something that that they can be successful in? Are you excited? Are you somebody that is positive? Are you somebody that they feel like if they have a bad day, they can call you and you'll be there for them? Do they feel like they can connect with you and trust you? And I think no matter what it is in the business, and we're learning that more and more, that it really is about you, your mindset, and your excitement. Now, one thing I want to add is that we talk about excitement and urgency, and Nikki Moore is going to talk about that as well when I unmute her, because I call her the queen of relational urgency. And I say that because when we are talking about creating urgency on a call, it is not about necessarily saying, oh my gosh, you need to sign up with me, and it's not about being desperate. I think there's a big difference between urgency and excitement and sounding desperate. And if you're sounding desperate, then you're going to be pushing people away. So again, the goal is with that relational urgency is to tell your story in a way that people don't want to miss out themselves. So you're urgent because you're passionate. You're passionate about your own experience. You're passionate about your friend's experience, the experience with the rapper, with the business. And that is the passion and excitement that comes through. It's not desperation. We are abundant thinkers. There are plenty of people in your town, in your city, in your state, in the country. There's, I think Joel Dunn, Presidential Diamond, says that there's 0.01% of the population that has actually heard of us, and we have 99.9% of the population in this country that has not yet heard of us. And so we have that abundant mind. We know that there's enough people out there for everybody to get a big piece of the pie, and so we don't want to come across in that desperation mode, but we want to come across in that passionate excitement, urgency mode. So some keywords. A company only grows once, and you can miss it. This is a no-risk investment. I often tell prospects that if you sell 8 wraps a month, you will have a self-running business. If you sell 8 wraps a month, that's $200 in the States here, more in Canada and Australia. That will pay for your auto ship and your website, and you have a self-running business. You will be signing up loyal customers and distributors along the way. All right, well, what other questions do we have about follow-up? And then I am going to unmute Nikki Moore. She is Presidential Diamond with It Works, and she, in my mind, is one of the best follow-uppers. I know her and Anna both do a great job. A lot of our team members and leaders do. But when I talked to Nikki today, she said, well, I don't know what I do any differently. And I think that's what you'll find. The people that are successful with follow-up don't necessarily have a special skill that you don't. We have just practiced. We've done it over and over and over again, and we're consistent with it. So, Nikki, I'm going to unmute you, and we'd love to hear a little bit, a few tips that you might have regarding follow-up.
Hey, guys. Hey, thanks, Denise. That was really good advice, and I agree. If Big Al is coming to a place near you, I would definitely get on board. I love hearing different ways that I can tweak what I already do. And it's funny because, like Denise said, I don't consider myself to be a master recruiter. I don't consider myself to be the queen of follow-up. But what I do know is that even 2 years into this business, today is the 2nd. We signed up on August 3rd of 2010, so it's almost our 2-year anniversary. And what I do know is that I'm just as hungry as I was 2 years ago. And when I say hungry, I mean I feel the urgency. I feel that push and that rush and that feeling sometimes Maybe some mothers can relate. Have you ever had that split second where you didn't see your child in the store? Maybe they turned the corner or they went under that clothing rack, and then your heart skips a beat, and that panic, I mean, I can't even describe that adrenaline rush that just goes over your heart. I feel that about this business. And so I guess one thing that I have learned from Denise is, first of all, anything that Denise says or does, I try to emulate that. And so I think it's really prudent for you to follow your upline, because this business is so duplicatable. But one of the things that Denise always did was share what she did. She was always relational with people. And I find that I do that as well. So before I do an opportunity meeting, before I do a party, when I'm talking to somebody about the wraps, I always throw in a piece about me, because I do recognize, and I've always recognized from the beginning, that they can get a wrap anywhere. They can get a business opportunity anywhere. There's other companies that people can be successful at. Not as successful, I think, as they can be with It Works. I think this is the real deal. But I recognize and I respect that there's other things that people can do, but they can do whatever they want, but we really are selling ourselves. And the way that we need to sell ourselves is to be relational. We need to share our story with them. We need to find a common chord. So that means if you're talking to another mother, share a story about your children. Share about how this has blessed you so much that you get to be home with your kids. I'm so thankful every day that my kids wake me up. I mean, they jump in bed with me and they wake me up. That's the first thing I hear in the morning. I don't know the last time I set an alarm. It was probably when I was traveling and I had to get up and do a speaking engagement or go blitzing with a team member. But for the most part, I haven't had to do that. If you're talking with a business person or somebody that's working and they can't stand their job and they want to get out of the 9-to-5 rat race, share your testimony about, oh, I know. You know, before when I was working, I had a pit in my stomach. I mean, I was just talking to somebody who was a teacher, and she was crying on the phone with me tonight, and I said, I feel you. I used to have a pit in my stomach come every August because I did not want to go back to work. I did not want to leave my kids, and I didn't want to go work for somebody else. And so whatever it is, find that common chord and just relate to them. And again, ask those questions. Find out who they are and what makes them tick. You will become superficial and you will become full of fluff if you use all of these pointers for your own gain. But again, every person that I meet, they are a potential friend. And that's what Denise said. You're going to be friends with them if they become a top leader, most likely. You are not going to like everybody that comes into your business. I mean, you are not going to. But you're going to like a whole heck of a lot of them, and they're probably going to be really good friends of yours at the end of the day. And so you might as well start out on a good foot and get there with that relationship, and just start it out on the right foot. But with the follow-up piece, besides being relational, I follow up a lot with my prospects and it took me a while to change my mindset from I'm hounding them, I'm harassing them, I'm whatever, I'm pushing them, but it really came down to if they don't want to talk to me and if they don't want my opportunity and they don't want my product, they're not going to pick up the phone, or they don't want it anyway, so it's not like I'm losing out. I do follow up 5, 7, 8 times to the point where I almost am annoying myself. But if I don't talk to them directly, if I have to leave voice messages, I'll just call them back, and maybe the 3rd, 4th go around, I'll say, hey, it's just me, wanted to make sure you got my email, wanted to make sure that you got my message, wanted to make sure that you were able to get the information. Sometimes it gets lost, and I don't know what's going on with my computer. Or I'll say sometimes my voicemail's been acting funny, so I didn't know, I just wanted to follow up with you and make sure that you didn't have any questions. And so you can find something to interject and follow up with them. And I'll tell you what, I have had people pick up the phone on the 5th, 6th, 7th time and apologize to me that they've been so busy and they wanted to talk to me and it just wasn't a good time, and then they got distracted, and sign up. And so you're doing them a favor by remembering them and following up with them. And if they don't pick up the phone, you know, after the 5th, 6th, 7th time, and they don't respond to your couple emails, Get with them on Facebook and become a friend. Become relational. Like their posts. Get to know them. Watch and get a feel for who they are. They're watching you. Be positive. Put the best face on. I really, really dislike it when I see people just displaying their trash on Facebook. Facebook is social media. Facebook is not your best friend. Your best friend, that is reserved for somebody to talk to on the phone. And so if you're in this business and you have a personal Facebook page and you're using that as part of your business avenue, be very mindful. Act as though Facebook is a child of yours and you want to be a good influence on it and you want to be positive and uplifting. And you know what? If that's kind of out of your comfort zone, you'll be surprised that it might start to become very much of your comfort zone, and it might help to guide you professionally and personally, and get with that. And the last thing I have to say is I was just talking with a prospect. Our phone's blowing up, you guys. My husband's quitting his job next week. Holy cow. And it's just absolutely nuts. The momentum is crazy. I'm not kidding you. We've talked to 5 different new people today. And I don't get it, but I'm going with it. And I know that God's putting people in our path. But I was talking to somebody and they said, wow, you make this sound so easy. Well, it is easy. What's hard about it? You know, I don't get it. And I said, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm not a car salesman. I'm not a salesperson. I've done sales. I worked at the mall when I was a kid, but that's not who I am. I'm not a pushy person. I don't want somebody to think that about me anyways. But what I am is a people person. I love people. Everybody is a potential friend of mine. I will strike up a conversation with the woman behind me at the grocery store. All she has to drop is one word, and that's an open invitation for a conversation with me. So if you are comfortable with opening your mouth, sharing things with a smile, being positive, being uplifting, and willing to stretch your comfort zone every now and again to listen to that prompting from what I believe is God, to talk to somebody or to get the word out there, if you're comfortable to do that, then you have this. The rest is going to fall into place. And so think about yourself as being a good friend. Think about yourself as being a good leader, and go out and share that and present the opportunity and keep chasing that, because you don't know what happens in people's lives. Lives happen and distractions happen, and maybe they just needed you to call them that one extra time in order for them to really get motivated and keep going with the business.
Thank you so much, Nikki. I think that your words of wisdom are so, so true. And congratulations to Chris. He is a chiropractor and he is selling his practice. And I know 2 years ago, Nikki was at the same place most of you are in going, is this going to work for me? And within 2 years, and both her and her husband have quit their jobs, and it's just the sky's the limit because the time is now, and the company is only going to continue to grow. So thank you so much, Nikki, for your words of wisdom. I am going to answer a few questions, and then I'm going to try to unmute Anna. Hopefully Anna's mic is working. I think we got it going here. So a couple questions is, what do you recommend for those that that their story is based on the supplements? And they, you know, the wrap is the primary push of the company, yet their story is based on the supplements. I think that is awesome. I think it's awesome. And I think you just tell your story. You know, you can say we have the Ultimate Body Applicator, which nobody else has. It is our in. No matter who you are, where you are, how old you are, people want to try it. Even if you're skeptical, which most people are. We know most people are skeptical because they've never heard of it. They still are intrigued. I take that skepticism as them being intrigued and interested, and they want to hear more, and they're like, I don't get it, but I'll try it. So we have the wrap that gets them in the door, but we are a well-rounded wellness company. You know, we're not going to say that the wrap is going to make an obese person a size 2, but what we're saying is that detox is a piece of the puzzle, and it's a piece that most people miss. So you can certainly bridge that gap. Talk about the wrap, but talk about how it's the gate opener, and that we have awesome supplements too, and that is really what has impacted you and your health. And you love the wrap because it gets people into a party. It's exciting, it works, it's fun. But the greens, oh my goodness, the greens, you know, you can certainly tell that story as well. You know, I have to say the compensation plan is my favorite thing, because that has changed our family for generations, and it's changing the families of all of our leaders. So So I love the wrap and I love the supplements, and I've seen testimonies, but then I bridge it back to the compensation plan too. So I think that you are in a great spot because we've got the wrap, but we certainly have products that are going to impact people's long-term overall health. All right. All right, Janelle is going to go off to meet a prospect, so good luck, Janelle. Keep us posted and let us know how it goes. All right, I am going to unmute Anna Godfrey. She is Presidential Diamond with It Works as well. Anna, are you on the line? I do not yet hear you. All right. She's typing in some things that was going to say. All right, well, I'm going to give you a few tips from Anna Godfrey. She is also a follow-up queen. She says that one of the things that she would call back a few times and just say, hey, my voicemail's been acting up, not sure if you got my messages or if you called me back, but I just wanted to touch base and connect with you. And the lead that she said that to signed up and is now a diamond in her organization. You know, I've tried so many things, guys. I have called people and say, hey, hey, Bob, I've got a question for you. This is Denise. Can you call me back? I've said personal things. I've said professional things. I've tried new things each and every time. I often say, I'm sending you an email as well. Check that out. Let me know what questions you have. Let's see if this is a good fit. Because honestly, sometimes when we're talking to prospects and leads, we are interviewing them. We want to know that if they're a good fit for our team and our business. And so practice, do different things, try new stuff, see what works. That seemed to work for Anna. Funny, funny, funny. Oh, and that was Anne Marie that Nikki said she did that too. All right, well, Anna, I'm sorry that we can't hear you. We'll have to figure that out. But if there's any other questions, we would love to answer your questions right now. I am recording this, and